Hello, everybody. We got Jake Pardoon over here. Say hi, Jake.
Hello, everybody.
And obviously me behind the camera. We're going to talk today about a little form that we use for teaming at BSRL and pharmacy called, we call it the HIWI, but it's how I want interaction from my teammates. So Jake, can you kind of take it away and tell everybody about the idea?
Yeah, so the idea is for all of us to understand how we interact and things that trigger us in our emotional states, how we like people to approach us and how we want to approach other people, so that as a team we get a better understanding of how each person plays into this team. That way we're able to get a better grasp and understanding of each person on an individual basis, not just as a group.
Wonderful. Can I look real quick? I'm going to zoom in on the form. Can you take me through a couple just quick example questions?
So the first one is one thing that I need from teammates. My thing is commitment. I want people to be committed, not only to the company but to the team itself. The next question is types of communication that help me. I like face-to-face communication and phone calls versus text message or emails. That way we can look each other in the eye. Mostly that's if you're confronting me about something, that we can look each other in the eyes and see who that person really is. So if you're going to say something to me, at least say it to my face. And then this is the one for me, are the hot button things that take me back to my primal self. I don't like people being late. I don't like alternate agendas. I don't like bad attitude. I don't like grudges. And I don't like when people close themselves off to ideas. Those are things for me that set me off.
Yeah.
And so as a team, if everyone is aware of things that put me into that state, that anger state, I guess, if we're all able to avoid those things, or not avoid them, but understand them about each other, then we're better off at getting to know that person and communicating with that person and
sometimes
creating a cohesive team.
Sorry to interrupt, but also making some concessions sometimes, right? Because like I remember at BSRL, some people would put, well, okay, so you put down, okay, bad attitudes, being late. I remember one person said being late to meetings. Another person was, don't approach me like you're bossing me around. Ask me what my opinion is. Another person was, I don't like getting delegation emails. And if we don't ever talk about these in team meetings like you're talking about, then people just tend to stay upset with each other and just get more and more and more and more distant. Whereas this gets it out in the open. Even if you don't review yours for Jake Pardoon's every day, it's out there. We can go back to them. It's out in the open.
Well, and it gets us a better, you might be upsetting someone without even knowing that you're upsetting that person, or knowing why you're upsetting that person. And if that person is not a great communicator or is more introverted, they might not approach you and say, hey, this is why you're upsetting me. And that person just gets angrier and angrier. And then there's those underlying currents within that team that just make it fall apart from within. So if we're all able to understand those items,
I think that's great, because the golden rule is to treat people like you want to be treated. The platinum rule is to treat people the way they want to. How would anybody ever know unless you had some intentional, method to find that out, right?
Right, and there's only like 6 or 7 questions, but a lot of them are more internal. How do you yourself see yourself? Like, what's your greatest weakness? That's one of the questions.
I like that. So that's down here, right? And those things we can help each other with this, and also leverage each other's strengths, right?
Yeah. So if people know that, like mine, I can be pessimistic. I call myself a realist, but it's not usually the case. I can be pessimistic.
Why are you smiling at me like that?
Because it's been pointed out to me on a number of occasions that I can be pessimistic, and that's considered a weakness for me.
That's funny.
And this wasn't that someone wrote for me. This is what I write about myself. This is one of the things that I see and understand. And if you know that, and we're in a meeting, you can just kind of call me out a little bit. Hey, right now I think you're being a little pessimistic. I already know that's a weakness of mine. You call it out on me, okay, maybe I am. And I think it helps you as yourself understand yourself, but it also helps you understand the teammates that you're working with.
I like that. And be more self-aware, right?
Yes.
Because you might, like you said, those undercurrents, you might be upset, but unless you actually take the time to reflect and write it down, you might not actually know what's making you upset, right? So you can, not only can other people help make concessions or work with you or call you out, you can work on it yourself.
Right.
I like that.
And then it gets down just a couple more questions is how I like interaction when I have reached a point of stress. So when the walls are caving in around me, how I want, how I interact or how I like interaction. So for me is I'm an emotional person. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Everything's out there in the open. And because of that, sometimes I let those emotions get the better of me and I might get a little frustrated or sound vocal and I'm not meaning to. So
I like this one right here where it says, pull me aside. Because we get busy, I remember my approach 3/4 through BSRL was like, let's talk about it in the meeting. And it was like, I didn't know that about you, that you wanted to have a side conversation. And that's super important because you're like, why is Jason, why are we having these conversations in a meeting? This is dumb, This enables us to tie back to what your wants are. I like that. What are the last two? And we'll close this out.
When teammates have identified a potential blind spot in my role, I like feedback this way. So if you see something that I might not be doing, I really want to be pulled aside. I don't want to be in an open meeting and have all my flaws lashed out against me. I'd rather someone come and say, hey, here's where some way I think you could do better. And the last one is something that I think you ought to know about me. If anything, I enjoy what I do. So I like telling people that, and just allows me to better understand people. A lot of the ones that people have turned in said, I love my family, I like being outdoors, I need time to exercise to get my stress level out. It just depends on what you want.
Yeah.
And there's no set form on this, there's just the questionnaire. You fill it out, and some are long, some are short, it's however you feel. But I think as a group, it helps us all understand each other.
And I agree with you, so I appreciate you doing this little video. And then if we make it like have a teaming section in our team meeting every week and review one of these or an answer of one of these or something, and especially if you talk about strengths and some of the positive stuff on the forums, I agree with you. This can be a powerful teaming thing. Anything else, Jake?
No.
All right. Love you, everybody. Bye.